All right, so I thought I'd go through some of the new features at translatortoolkit.com. We built we built these tools for our own internal team use, but then as we began developing more, we thought others might find them useful, and so we put them on translatortoolkit.com. So if we go to the dashboard, the main thing lately we've been working on is the document translator. So some of the new features over the whole site is that one of the problems with AI models is that you're limited in your use based on your own account for whatever API you're using, whether it's OpenAI and ChatGPT or Gemini with Google. But about 2 weeks ago, I was at a conference and got some advice from some other developers and found Vertex, which is by Google, which is an API that allows us as much access as we want to Google's Gemini 3. And so we moved the site over to allow that usage. Because even for our small team, you can run into problems with an OpenAI key when, like even just 2 or 3 people are sharing it. So so this is a great new feature. We also added credits to keep track of usage. This will allow us in the future to make it seamless for users that maybe don't know how to get an API key, that's confusing, that they'll still be able to use these tools by paying a small fee, and then we'll give them credits to use. We've started using Gemini 3 Flash for a lot of the tasks. Gemini 3 Pro is also available through Vertex, but it is more expensive. So Flash is we found has been pretty good for linguistic type tasks. So the new features here are context aware translation. So I'll walk through what this does. So basically, the AI model first will take a look at your document and make kind of a general summary through the lens of a translator. Basically a document that would help a translator understand the context, the audience, the type of material that's being translated. So that is created on the front end, and then we will translate the document being contextually aware. So paragraphs that have been translated already as we go through the document are stored, and also key terms that were used and chosen by the AI model will be preserved so that you'll have consistency in your document. Again, contextually consistent. It doesn't mean that you'll have this wooden translation with the same terms being used for translation, even though the context demands a different word be chosen, but it just will help the document be contextually aware as it goes through. So this is a great improvement. We also worked on preserving document formatting. We had a little bit of this, but now it does most anything: tables, highlights. Even if you italicize or bold a word in your source document, the model will do its best. Again, it's not 100%, but it will do its best to bold or italicize the same word in the translation. But again, a human element is necessary to edit and double check. But we're trying to help the AI model be more aware of the document. Footnotes, etc., should also be translated. But this is beta. It's fairly complex to take a Word document, translate it, and preserve formatting. So we hope that this will be helpful, though, as you translate material. And then we updated our multipass translation as well. It is slower, again, for multipass and contextual aware translation. Both are slower. Multipass just looks again. It asks the model to evaluate what it translated and make any edits. So it's kind of like a second edit pass. And experiment. See which features work well. We recommend that you start with the Gemini 3 Flash and see how that does, and maybe then try the Gemini 3 Pro on a small document and see if it's any better in your language pair. But for us, with the Khmer language, we found that Gemini 3 Flash is doing a pretty good job. Some of the next features that we're looking at, let me see if I have. So here's a document that's preserved in formatting. If we open it in English, we can see there's tables, there's colors, highlighting multiple sizes, and here's the result that they're in the tables. There's the italic, here's the bold, different font sizes, and then the colors and a highlight is preserved, as well as the footnote. Yeah, so just experiment. We recommend, doing smaller chunks of text, a chapter, maybe even less at a time, to experiment with your language. The next feature we're going to introduce is a glossary of terms that will then even aid this translation more. And we'll integrate that into the editor as well, because then as it edits the document, it will check what terms you desire to use based on your glossary. Again, it will do its best to be contextually aware. Glossaries tend to be, it's like a dictionary, so it's not contextually aware. But this can aid the AI model as it translates, when it's possible, to use the terms that you've decided that you want to use. Use the spellings, for instance. In some languages, there aren't standardized spellings, and so a glossary can help with that as well, that we're choosing this spelling, and look for consistency with that. So we hope these new features are helpful. We're excited about the future of AI and what that means for translation, and we'll continue to develop these tools. Thank you.